Take us through that play, and did you have enough time to think about what you wanted to do?
Right before that, Richie won the draw again. I kind of was in the middle, and I gave it to Staal. He had a good shot too, and Richie, won the draw in the middle. I just came down and just wanted to shoot as hard as I can to the blocker side, maybe a rebound, or just got lucky when I.
How about the fact that you guys come out in the third period and play the way you did after it seemed like there was pretty strong domination from the other team for 40?
I think. We weren't terrible, but we weren't, working as hard as we have to. And I think after Torres called a timeout, we kind of just gathered ourselves and tried to play faster and quicker and play in there and a little more. And thought we did that. And obviously, our third period won us the game again. It
seemed as though he was very encouraging during that timeout. What was the message you took from that message?
Well, we were a little slow the first two shifts. They kind of got on us pretty good there, and we just wanted to play quick. Move the puck up right to the forwards and kind of do the job from there, and we just wanted to spend as less time as we could in our end. That's 2 shutouts in 3 games now for your team, for your goaltender. What does that say not only to the other team but what you guys are doing? Well, we're so lucky to have Hanky back there. He made some huge saves the first 40 minutes to keep us in the game. It could have been 2-0 their way. They had a couple big chances and he made some great saves, and that always gives us some momentum going into the third period. He makes big saves like that.
Your first 2 periods, you find yourself 0-0, but it seemed like the Devils were dominating play. What was the feeling on the bench?
I think we were happy with how we were playing defensively, trying to limit their chances, but wanted to probably do a little more on the offensive end. I think we kind of refocused and just went at it again.
Early timeout in the second period. What did Coach Tortorella say to the players?
Just a few adjustments, a few things to focus on, little nuances, coming out of the zone, stuff like that.
All right, third period. What was the feeling coming out? You had your best start to a period in that third.
Yeah, I think it was right kind of where we wanted to be. We felt confident in our ability to get pucks in and to start applying pressure.
All right, you get the power play goal by Dan Girardi, then less than 2 minutes later, you go to the front of the net. Talk about the play where you got the second goal.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a broken play. Callie made a few good plays in the offensive zone. I think there might have been a couple blocks, and then puck ended up out with Ryan McDonagh, and he had a great shot. And I don't think I tried to tip it. I think he just found my stick.
Chris, talk about what you're learning about yourself in this playoff competition.
Yeah, you think that you've worked hard in college hockey in years prior, but there's definitely another level you have to push yourself to.
Girardi steps up and scores that big goal, as you had talked about. I know you guys have an appreciation for what he can bring in that end of the ice, but is he underrated in that category, you think?
Yeah, I mean, he has a great shot. We see it all the time in practice, but I mean, if he gets a chance, he's gonna bury it, and it's good for him to get rewarded in that situation where. He does all the little things that gets unnoticed sometimes with the blocking the shots, having a good stick, taking the body. It's good for him to get rewarded, and he's come up with some huge goals during this whole playoff run.
And then you guys make it 2-0 less than 2 minutes later, which is a really important thing at this time of year, and it comes from a guy who continues to write his story. Does his intelligence impress you as much as his speed because of the way he scored today?
Everything. He knows the game so well. You can see it out there. He sees the ice. He has good size, good speed. And I think the thing that impresses me the most is he comes in and he doesn't, play like a rookie. He plays like he's been here, and on and off the ice he handles himself like a professional, and that's a big thing in this moment.
What was the importance of the timeout, and how did it change the dynamic of what was going on in the bench?
Yeah, I mean, we had to calm ourselves down. I mean, they had momentum. They're controlling the game, and we just had to relax and get to our game and getting pucks deep. And sometimes it's good to take a deep breath and get back to work. And I thought that timeout helped us.
The face-off win on the goal by Dan, is that your intention to put the puck where it ended up going there?
No, I don't intend to put it out there. You're just trying to win the draw, and even if it's a tie-up or something behind you. But it ended up just the way it went. It just went that way.
When you watch him do what he does in the offensive zone, are there things that stand out to you that don't to a lot of other people? Because when people mention Dan Girardi, offense isn't a big part of the discussion.
Well, he's very smart offensively, but we count on him to do so much work defensively. Sometimes he's just not able to because he's shutting down other people, or he's not put in some of those situations all the time, so you don't get to see it. But if if we need him to be offensive, and tell him just to be offensive. He's a very smart hockey player, and you can't be that good defensive the way he reads plays and anticipates without having some offensive awareness. But he just walked in and his head's up all the time. There's a reason why he's talked about now, and going to the All-Star game and all those things this year. There's a reason for all that. He's arrived. He's not. I don't think he's not underrated in our room.
And then the 2-0 goals seem to be the byproduct of not only good forechecking, but a pretty intelligent play by Chris to kind of make himself invisible and then pop out in front. Does his intelligence stand out to you as much as his speed?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have hockey sense to play in conference finals and without any experience. You got to have some, but his speed is just unbelievable, and that's his first step, and that's how he creates. He creates everything with that. That's his asset. It worked out again tonight for us.
Was it as much mental as strategic during that timeout? Because he seemed very encouraging to you guys.
Yeah. I mean, we had some links going. It was just about getting to the right spots and executing. The ice wasn't that great today, so you really had to be simple, and I don't think we were doing that in the beginning part there. We
see a goal there from Dan Girardi. You've played with him all year. Is his offensive ability underrated or underappreciated outside the room?
Definitely, I think so. He and I work on our shots there at practice, beforehand, and he's always trying to improve on puck handling and stuff. And you can see he wants to be in those situations, and he executes a lot of goals here.
When your goaltender plays the way he does, shot after shot, play after play, do you sense frustration from the other team?
I don't know. I mean, we're not really worrying about what their thoughts are on how we're doing. I mean, we're just focusing on our game. I mean, obviously we don't want to be backed up in our own zone and giving up chances like that. We've got to look at some things, but in the end, it's always a team effort with this team, and no matter how we get it done, we just try and do it as a group.
That said, there are some games where a goaltender might steal a game. Was this one of them, you think? Just the fact that he kept you where you were after 40?
Yeah, he gives us a chance every night. He doesn't quit. He was obviously our best player on the ice today, and we rewarded him with the hat, and he wants more, and he wants to be continued to be an effective player in the series for us.
Did you sense the timeout was important as much in settling you guys down and encouraging you as formulating something strategic?
Yeah, they got a couple quick chances on us, and I think it was good to settle us down and refocus, and I thought we did that, and we had a good second period.
And you look at what Henrik was able to do in those first 40 minutes. Do you think to yourself that there are certain games where a goaltender is the storyline, and this is one of them?
Yeah, he played great, and I think, like I said, he was sharp early, and you could tell he was just kind of in one of those zones, and he was fantastic for us. So that was a big part of getting us to that third even, and we stepped up and made some plays where we were able to go up.
You've been on the ice when he's played that way in games. Can you sense that the other team gets either frustrated or aggravated when they're enduring that kind of thing?
Well, I think when he's that sharp and they're shooting everything at him, and he's coming up with those stops, and I'm certainly I'm sure they feel some frustration there, and I think he can do that to teams, and he did that today.
What are the parts that you saw today that you think you guys want to make sure don't happen again in Game 4?
Well, I think when we got to our forecheck and got in their end zone, and I think it's not something that we didn't do. I think it's more of what we have to do, and we'll look to do that again in the next one.